I need to ask you a question. Be curious, Drifters.
Mr. Brightside bends them up and wins again. Zardozi wins the Oaks for J-Mac. The photo finish. Mr. Brightside or Romantic Warrior.
The mare's going, great guns, Fangirl. Look at her go, Fangirl.
Imperatrice has got her. And raced on by Imperatrice by a length.
Overpass, more Baker's Delight in Perth.
Radina just won it, I'd say. Tom Ketton won the spring champion in a cakewalk.
Without a fight, won the Caulfield Cup.
Mate, my favourite race every single year. Doesn't matter that there's a ton of internationals in there. Doesn't matter that this year's edition is absolutely dog shit. It's still a good prospect. I love the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, isn't it? The build-up's phenomenal. It's just a great day. And, yeah, tell you what, you forget a lot of the winners that you have along the journey, but if you pick the Cup winner, you always remember it. And it's been a while between drinks for your boy, so I'm due. Even though the field isn't of the highest quality this year, it'll still be nice to pick the winner, and it's looking like it's going to be pretty tough to do so, but we'll give it a crack.
Yeah. Mackay Davey, your favourite, surely?
Yeah.
I reckon that third call is still my favourite call of all time.
Yeah.
And here comes Mackay Diva, and the nation rolls for a hero. I love it.
Yeah, so good. She was. The older I get, the more I realise how much of a freak she was.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, so Mackay Diva definitely my favourite. My last winner was Cross Counter. I've had a few placings since then. Il Paradiso, Tiger Moth.
You had something on Vow and Declare, didn't you?
I did have something on Vow and Declare as well.
So he was after Cross Counter.
He was. But yeah, I've the closest I've come recently is off the top of my head. Well, Incentivized, but he was a shorty. Tiger Moth, I thought he was going to run over the top of Twilight Payment. John McNeil! It's the most assertive he's ever been in his life, the most initiative he's ever shown. But anyway.
We were watching it last year, and I said to you, I'm like, I'm getting cold feet on Vauban here. And I backed up without a fight, and he did it again.
He did it again.
again.
Vauban was heating up.
Yeah.
Last year, he did not like. He looked pretty dross as well in the yard. So, yeah, the writing was on the wall there. He backs up again this year. He's your number one. Saddlecloth, Gate 11, Willie Mullins, Vauban. He's $6. So he's going to probably start favourite again.
I'd say so because of the attrition. 2 weeks ago, I reckon you could have got about $15 for this horse.
Yep.
So, which all the European analysts who obviously know this form far better than us, they're saying that this horse is actually either got the same form lines or even better this year. How's this form sound? Around Kyprios, Gregory, Tower of London, Grosvenor Square. That is absolutely world class for staying ranks. Like Kyprios is number one. He was 2.5 lengths away from him at his last start. What they did as well, that last start was in September. I think they purposely had that run closer to this year's Melbourne Cup for him because he was just obviously a little bit fresh last year.
Very fresh.
So apparently they've been getting plenty of work into him at Werribee. I think he's obviously one of the winning chances.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. He's in my numbers, Vauban. Others that have raced overseas and we've seen them win the Bendigo Cup and the Geelong Cup in recent weeks don't have anywhere near the form that Vauban has. And bro's only got to carry 55.5 kilos. This is an incredibly compressed Melbourne Cup. So I would not be concerned if you're concerned about him carrying the top weight.
Yeah. Are you concerned about Buckaroo for several reasons? 54.5 kilos. Barrier 21. And he's a son of Fastnet Rock, which they just do some weird stuff. Now, he's never won at further than 1,800 metres. Now, how many has he actually attempted, right? I think he's run in some Queen Elizabeth and Tankards and so what have you, and Caulfield Cups. So he's attempted it a few times. And you're getting asked to take $6 with the good people at Ned's.
Yeah, well, he brings the best weight for age form. And we've seen in more recent years that can really stand up. So I get it. I'm risking him in my numbers, Buckaroo. There's just something that was the Melbourne Cup always the plan for him? 2,400 metres in the Caulfield Cup. He did come home like a freight train. I think he was entitled to, though, with the way that the race was run. Happy to risk it, particularly that price when you're getting around the same price for Vauban, who we know will run the 3,200 metres.
Yeah. Being a son of Fastnet Rock, they just do some weird stuff. But his dam, Rohiran, who we actually saw run for Godolphin.
Yes.
But he was an older gelding. But Rohiran is a Galileo mare who ran up to 2,800 metres over in Europe. So won a few times, I think around the 2,000, 2,400 metres. So, there's somewhat some staying pedigree, but, 3,200 on the biggest day of the year is different gravy.
And we know where he's going to be from that gate, so prepared to risk.
Number 3, Circle of Fire, Sydney Cup winner. Probably needed to see more from him this prep. 3 runs, he's been beaten over 40 lengths in his 3 starts. And he actually won his start prior to the Sydney Cup, so he's going far better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Number 4, Warp Speed. Now, this horse, what price did he go out at? $31 in the Caulfield Cup. He's $26 here. He's a far better prospect here.
Absolutely, yeah. I couldn't quite fit him in my numbers, Warp Speed, but gets the dry deck, has a phenomenal gait. I think you'll get a great run for your money at each way odds, $26 at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if, with the Whirlpool and things like that, Japanese staying form, if he trims into the teens, I think.
Yeah. So he has form around the best stayer in Japan, Tio Royale. The things that are in his favour, right? He hated that wet track at Caulfield. This will be absolutely firm. And I think from barrier 3, I reckon they'll try and ride him a bit more aggressively to get a position just behind the speed there.
And while we're talking about the Caulfield Cup, that day on Caulfield Cup Day, you wanted to be up close to the lead, and he missed the start from memory, Warp Speed. So gate 3 sit a bit closer. He's absolutely a winning chance, I think.
Yeah. Number 5, Kovalika. Ran on pretty decently in the Cox Plate. Didn't break the track record himself.
No, he didn't.
I think, the right run in a Cox Plate, i.e. very elegant, can be the right form reference on the right year.
Absolutely. You know what's great? Seeing this horse out to a trip. He should have been running in this race last year, Kovalika. Instead, he ran in a Golden Eagle.
Last.
Yep. I can understand why he'd have his backers. And I want to see him run well just for our future staying prospects because they're quite thin. But I think if he's a similar price to Warp Speed, I'd much rather know who I'm going to be on. There's some questions about Kovalika and from that gate we know where he's going to be, just like Buckaroo.
Yeah, I think this is a horse that you could play in your top 10 markets.
Yep.
I think. I think he'll run really well. And as you said, I've been wanting to see him out to a trip like this for an absolute age. Number 6, Sharp and Smart. I think I made this comment to you. I think he was an elite 3-year-old and 2-year-old. Never been beaten more than a length. When he got knocked off in the Victoria Derby up to that point in his career. And once he's stepped up into open class, he's just struggled to keep up.
Yeah, he had excuses earlier this year because he had a virus, but I still think he's probably found his mark. He's $81, so if you're keen on him, I'm not going to talk you out of it, but he comes out of that Moonee Valley Gold Cup race that Okita Sushi won, and I know who I'd rather be on.
I agree. Just Fine was in the Moonee Valley Gold Cup as well. Went nuts up front, set a decent tempo. I think he'll do the same. 3,200 metres doesn't suit. But what is in his favour is he'll probably find the lead from barrier 13, being a Waterhouse spot galloper. And if that southerly picks up, he'll be the one that they need to run down.
He will. I think when Bro's barely falling in over 2,400 metres, I think for 3,200 metres, we'll find him out. I'd be shocked if he won.
Yeah. Now, number 8, Land Legend. There's only been one horse win from barrier 18 in the 170 years of the Melbourne Cup, and that is Very Elegant. Chris Waller trained just like this guy, Zach Purton on. I could see this being the number 1 seed for Chris Waller. Barrier 18 sounds like a dog shit gate. For this horse, it is far better than what Barrier 1 would have been as he got in the Caulfield Cup.
Absolutely, and he ran well there. He was still underdone. He managed to win a Metrop. Look, he's a bigger price than Zardozi, but he's got better form, you could argue. So he's a little bit of a nutter, I think, Land Legend. And Zach Purton knows that. It's good that he's had the ride on him before because he would have learned a lot about this horse. He's not in my numbers, but I think he's a top 6 hope, absolutely.
Leo agrees. I've got him in my numbers, Land Legend. I think he's the one who I think out of the Caulfield Cup will finish first.
Okay.
That's how I've kind of viewed it. Absurd. The other Willie Mullins trained galloper, Kieran McAvoy on, who knows how to win a Melbourne Cup. Barrier 7 ran better than Vauban in the Cup last year. Has won over 4,000 metres, being a son of Fastnet Rock. $11. He'll give you a side if you like him.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't find him in my numbers, but certainly not the worst. He ran well last year, and second time around, I'm sure he'll do just as well, if not better.
Now, number 10, Athabascan. He won the St. Ledger, which Land Legend won last year. Barrier 2 is a good thing for this horse. He'll probably be up there just behind Just Fine, I'd say. $71. He ran second in the Sydney Cup this year. So I think he does stay. I'll be shocked. It's a good track for him probably doesn't help either.
Yep, I'm with you on both those points.
Okay. Number 11, Knight's Choice. Absolute traffic cone, this.
151 to 1.
Honestly. It just annoys me that horses like this are in the field.
Traffic cone.
Yeah.
Good luck to the connections.
Now, number 12, Okita Sushi. Barrier 10, Jamie Carr, Chris Kiramar. Barrier $17 with the good people at Ned's. Won over 3,200 previously. They have figured this horse out in 2 runs. Get him on pace, let him grind away, and he will run. He'll be in the finish. I have no doubt, Akita Sushi.
He wouldn't shock me, Akita. Again, couldn't find him in my numbers, but you're dead right. And he gets the lightweight, Jamie Carr, from a good enough gate. If he lands in the first third, I think he'll finish in the first third. Well-named horse.
I think he's nearing my on top selection of Akita Sushi. I just think there's something about him, and I think he's only really found his feet in his last 2 starts, and he's going to be even better out to 3,200, I think.
Plus, he's an entire. So we know with entires sometimes they can just take a while to get into their preps, particularly staying tyres, because they tend to fatten up pretty quickly with all that testosterone coursing through their veins. Yeah. So definitely not the worst Akita Sushi.
Yeah. One smooth operator, Geelong Cup winner. Now, he had an issue during the week. He had to reshoe one of his shoes. Got a bit of a cut there. So at $7.50, I'm not even convinced he runs yet. I'm happy to let him around.
Got to let him through. You need everything to go right. And anything to do with a horse's feet for a big run like this, I just, on a potentially good 3 deck, don't have anything to do with it, sorry.
Like that win on Geelong Cup Day, I believe watching the footage or the post race, or even he might have been in the yard. I think that was his first ever win on turf.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I think he's won on the Syntho and synthetic tracks over there. Now this E-ball that he's running is one of the great form references of all time, and we'll get to Sea King as well. But look, if you like him, by all means, I think he'll run a good race if he's fully fit. But I'm happy to take him on.
Yep.
Number 14, Zardozi, Barrier 4, $16 with the good people in Eds. She ran super in the Empire Rose.
She did. This has been a really long prep, and I think James Cummings is emulating his grandfather, Bart Cummings, who knew how to win a Melbourne Cup. I'll tell you that much for free. Run him on the Saturday before the Tuesday, And I tell you what, that was a tick over trial if I've ever seen one, but she ran super. The Caulfield Cup, I'll go back to that run, and she was probably entitled to run better, particularly on a soft deck. But like I said before in that meeting, you wanted to be sort of leading. Buckaroo ran straight past her. I think she'll run super. I think Flemington's her track. She's drawn well. The weight's fine. There's just something about her at $16. She's definitely in my numbers, Dozy. I'm considering even having her on top. But something in the back of my mind, which I say all the time on the podcast, 4-year-old mares, you've got to be a superstar to win a race like this, because I think it just comes a bit too soon for them. I don't think Zardozi's a superstar. I think she's a good horse. This isn't a superstar race. So I'm tossing her up, but I think she might be a year away.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
What about her on good tracks?
Not as effective, you don't think?
Yeah, that's my gut feel. In saying that, the one time she has won was in the Oaks.
Yeah, and she visually exploded in the Oaks on the quick back up down the middle of the Flemington track.
But any of the Oaks field in this? You know what I mean?
No.
And that's why she had panels on the rest of the
Panels. Like I said, I think she's a year away, so I'm thinking I might keep my powder dry, but she's in my numbers.
Yep. I'm happy to risk her, just for all the reasons that you outlined.
Yep.
Sea King. You're not getting $50 anymore, bruh.
You're not getting $50 anymore, Drifters. I think he can win, Sea King.
Barrier 1.
Not ideal.
Yeah. Shortest way home, potentially.
Shortest way home.
Holy Doyle.
Yeah. He got the Mario Kart star.
Yeah.
In Bendigo.
So I think he can, is Barclay Square, knocking him off by 4 lengths? Is that the right form for a race like this? Maybe it is.
Maybe it is this year.
Barclay Square, to his credit, they've finally got him over a trip, and he's racing pretty well. He's an enormous horse, Barclay Square.
He's a big boy.
Yeah.
Really big.
Yeah.
He's not on this field, though.
No, he's not.
Look, I think I'm being swayed by the fact that I've got a ticket for 50s for Sea King.
Understandably so, mate.
I don't need to bet in this race anymore, Drifters.
Yeah.
I will, though. Responsibly.
Yeah.
He won like Antino. Will he replicate that? I'm not sure. Is it the right form? I'm not sure. But there's something about that win there. You just put him to the sword. And the one smooth operator form looks great as well. So I think Sea King might be on my top selection.
I'm weighing up whether I'll put him in. Yeah. I think he'll run well.
Yeah.
Number 16, Valiant King, beaten 13 lengths in the Caulfield Cup. Will this suit? I have no idea. Barrier 22. I think he's up against it 100 to 1.
I think so too.
Now, one for your top 10s. We gave one out last year. I think this one might be the one. Number 17, Fancy Man. Barrier 19 sucks. But Ronnie Stewart, friend of this podcast and Sneesby Racing, knows how to ride over the 2 mile. So this horse was only he was third to Herman Hess in the Herbert Power, and he was running on very nicely when no one else really did in the Caulfield Cup. He was still beaten 10 lengths. But if I'm kicking up for the likes of Warp Speed, if we're making a case for the likes of Zardozian, he wasn't that far away from him.
No.
So I think he might be one that could run a bit of a nice race for those types of exotic bets at $100.
His form reads better than $100. Yeah. So yeah, if you're a top 10 player, which the Melbourne Cup's probably the only race where I'd ever indulge in that, absolutely not the worst.
Yeah. Interpretation for Kieran Ma, Tio Nugent on top. Barrier 14, $19 you're getting asked to take. He was the one who was chasing home one smooth operator in the Geelong Cup. Looks like he'll stay all day. Query over his fitness as well. Equicast on first time.
Yeah, got to risk it.
Yeah. Best of luck to our mate Joshua McClelland, who has a ticket for this horse. Apparently he ran as a 3-year-old in Australia as well. Definitely did it.
He definitely did
He
it.
definitely did it.
Great Barrier Reef in the Cornwall vibes. Not always right, brother.
Yeah. Number 19, Man Zoyce, snuck into the field. Barrier 8. Oh, he possibly couldn't, could he?
No, he couldn't.
That's $71. There's some support for him. Like, he doesn't have as good a form as Fancy Man.
No, he doesn't.
Never won on a good track. It will be a rock hard track. He'll probably go back.
Yep.
I think he'll stay the troop for you.
I think he will.
But I also thought that when I backed him in the Sydney Cup and he finished second last.
I'd be shocked.
So, mostly cloudy. This horse has won over the 3,200 and further. I think he was going better in the autumn. I think he was going better in the spring last year. I'd be shocked at $81.
I'd be shocked. Carice T10 on board.
T10. Positivity at 100 to 1, 50 kilos, barrier 20. She was absolutely donkey licked by Okita Sushi in the Moonee Valley Gold Cup.
Yeah, a couple of runs ago when she won the Foundation Cup, you'd think she probably would start like a $20 pop in this race, but she's just been dog shit since then, so can't have her.
Yeah. Look who snuck into the field here. Number 22, St. George. Tyler Sheila, Kieran Ma, 20 to 1. Barrier 9. There's a fair few ticks there.
There's a fair few ticks. And look, this pony will run the trip. You know that much for free, St. George. I've got to have him in my numbers. Look, he's $20, so there's been some market support already. I think he'll run out the trip. There's got to be some question marks about how interested he is in racing as a 5-year-old Northern Hemisphere entire. And he can run on a bit, but he'll see out the trip. And there's a lot of these, like Melbourne Cup says. There's some that do, there's some that don't. He's one that will.
Yep.
So he's found himself in my numbers.
Big, beautiful grey horse. The general public will punt it on this thing.
Oh yeah,
and not only the general public. How's this for some names? So I have Qatar Bloodstock, Aussie Kerr, John O'Neill, Neil Greenhall,
Noel,
Sneesby Racing. Is that a punting ownership group? You better believe it. Every single one of them smash their horses responsibly when it's the right time. So I think they've had a significant impact on him being $31 into 20s. So, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if this horse starts at like, I don't know, $12 or something.
Yeah. Which is just... And I've said to Sneesby Racing plenty of times, he wants to win the Melbourne Cup awfully badly. And I said to him, I was like, you'll win it when you least expect to. He didn't think he was going to have a run this year. So there you go.
Number 23, The Map, Barrier 23. She's been running on in the Herbert Power and the Geelong Cup. She's the local horse for the connections in Adelaide. I wish them well. I'd be shocked.
Same here. Good luck.
Like, she ran second in the Adelaide Cup. Is that form good enough to be winning this? I don't think so. And now number 24, Trust in You. Drew a gate, barrier 5. Sheesh. If you're not knocking off Athabascan over 2,600, I'd be shocked if you're featuring in the finish here. Has had one run at the 3,200, but over in New Zealand and finished 6th, beaten 4 lengths. So there is a long tail to this race.
God, yeah.
Significant.
It really is.
So, what are your numbers?
I'm going to have Sea King on top. I was just taken by that win in the Bendigo Cup. And look, that ticket speaks for itself. Vauban's going to run a mighty race.
I agree with that.
He's going to run a mighty race. $6 in a Melbourne Cup's always going to be a bit short. Didn't stop me from backing him last year. Zardozi, I think, will run a drum. I just have a feeling about this mare. I think she'll run a drum, so she's got to be in my numbers. Don't want to leave her out. And St. George has to be in my numbers. The one that I couldn't fit in there that I'd like to is Warp Speed. So 5. What about you, mate?
I'm going to go, and this is in real time, But if you looked at my Ned's profile, you would see Land Legend at $18, not the $20 you're currently getting. So, I'm going to go Akita Sushi. I just think he's peaking at the right time. I think they've just figured it out. And with that little southerly breeze that's happening on Tuesday, if it indeed goes down that way, I want something that is going to be up on pace. And I think the quicker they go, and there's going to be Athabascan, there's going to be Just Fine, and the likes of those two, and probably others going up and setting a decent tempo, I think he'll be up there, and I think he'll be just absorbing that and just absolutely travelling. So I think Akita Sushi on top, Jamie Carr's first Melbourne Cup win from Land Legend. I think he's going to be the first horse home from the Caulfield Cup. Barrier 18 reads far better than what it actually does for this horse. I think he will be outside horses which he needs, and he'll blend in at the top of the straight and he'll give you a chance. From Warp Speed, Barrier 3, I think he'll be sitting up a bit closer as well for the Japanese runner. 30, he only gets warm over this distance, and Rock Hard Track suits him. And then Vauban. Just take him on a little bit at the price.
Yeah.
$6.
It's awfully short in the Melbourne Cup. Geez, that trifecta will pay anything if you land it.
I might have to.
Chuck on the Ned's profile. Yeah. No, good shout. Yeah, look, I've got not a lot of confidence at all in this year's Melbourne Cup. You said to me yesterday, this reeks of a result.
Yeah. I think so. And that's why I'll be backing Land Legend and Akita Sushi and Warp Speed. 3 of them.
Mm-hmm. And you can do.
Yeah. Because what are they? 17, 20s and 34s.
Yeah. Absolutely jam.
Yeah. What else do you want from me? and if Vauban wins, I'll have trifecta, and the other two will run second or third, so I'll still get a result. So
it's that easy.
Yeah.
Best of luck, drifters, with the Melbourne Cup. It's always a fun day. It's a fun race. If you find the winner, let us know, because...
Well, we'll know because the tipping comp will be going on.
Oh, of course. So, yeah, don't forget about the tipping comp. I will send the Melbourne Cup tonight to get your tips in. And I'll
Sunday night.
Sunday night. And I'll send a reminder morning of. So, yeah, it's hot at the top. Certain player might be sneaking up after a good day yesterday. So
HOTTOGO. Hot to go. Love that. All right. If you haven't a bet, do it with Neds. Do it responsibly. See you Wednesday.
See yous.